This is part 2 of our discussion on how to say you are sick in Tagalog. Kumusta po kayo? Welcome back. Let's continue our journey in learning a beautiful language, Tagalog, the language of the Philippines. In my last video, I began discussing the root word sakit, the Tagalog word for sick, pain, hurt, and disease. We have learned to combine the prefix magka with the root word sakit to give us the infinitive verb magkasakit, to get sick. If you have missed that video, do check it out so that this current video will make better sense to you. Check it out. The link is in the description box down below. In this video, we will tackle the question, how do you say, I am sick in Tagalog? You might be surprised to know that in Tagalog, we don't say, I am sick. We don't. We say, I have sickness. Strange, but true. To learn how to say this, we need to understand the Tagalog version of the verb to have, of which we have 3 versions. These are Mayroon, the more formal version which you will hear from formal conversations, literature, and newscasts. Meron, which is the more colloquial version. Its conjugated forms are more of regional variety and not widely used. You will see what I mean later. May, the more casual version and the more widely used version. It is also the version that is less complicated to conjugate. Mayroon, meron, and may are more than just verbs. They are many things. They are root words, adjectives, and prepositions. There are many Tagalog phrases that are formed from these words. Now that we know what to have is in Tagalog, or the 3 versions of to have, let us now form the phrase, I am sick in Tagalog. Mayroon akong sakit. I am sick. Meron akong sakit. I am sick. May sakit ako. I am sick. Sakit in these instances is not just a root word. It is also functioning as a noun. Sakit, sickness. At its core, these phrases literally mean I have sickness. To use these phrases in the past, present, and future, we conjugate mayroon, meron, and may, because in this instance, they are functioning as verbs. Let's take a look. Let's start with the completed aspect or naganap, or when the action has been completed. Let's go. Nagkaroon ng sakit. This is the more formal version. Nagkameron ng sakit. This is a regional variety. It is not common across the Philippines. Nagkasakit. This is the more common version. All of these versions mean got sick. Let's try the progressive aspect or nagaganap. This is when the action is currently happening. Its form is the same form as the infinitive verb. Mayroong sakit. This is the formal version. Notice the ligature G is attached to mayroon. Merong sakit. This is the colloquial version. Notice too the ligature G attached to meron. May sakit. This is the more casual version and more commonly used. Notice that there are no ligatures or markers. All these versions mean is sick. Now, let's do the contemplative aspect or magaganap. This is when the action has not yet occurred and is about to occur. Magkakaroon ng sakit. Notice the marker ng before sakit. This is the more formal form. Magkakameron ng sakit. Again, notice the marker ng before sakit. Note too that this is a regional variety and is not used widely around the Philippines. Magkakasakit. This is the more common form. All these versions mean will be sick. You will notice on the table there is another phrase, galing sa sakit. It means been to sickness. It is a phrase used in the completed aspect. It is used to communicate that the person was in a state of sickness in the past. It is the basis for the recently complete aspect or katatapos and not the other verb form. So, the recently complete form is kagagaling sa sakit, which contextually means I have recently been sick, but I am okay now. Got it? So, as I told you, the answer to the question, how do you say I am sick in Tagalog, is not straightforward. And it can be confusing, but it can be overcome. So, I advise you to forget about the infinitives mayroong sakit and merong sakit. Just be aware that they exist. Let's focus on the easiest version, may sakit. Also, please note that you can use may to refer to specific illnesses like may COVID, has COVID, may sipon, has a cold, may trangkaso, has a flu, may diarrhea, has diarrhea, may ubo, has cough, etc. You can expand the phrase may sakit to include the specific body parts by connecting them using the preposition sa. Here are some examples. May sakit sa puso, has heart disease. May sakit sa atay, has liver disease. May sakit sa baga, has lung disease. May sakit sa utak, has brain disease. May sakit sa isip, has mental sickness. May sakit sa buto, has bone disease. Ayos ba? Now, let's use may sakit and its conjugated forms in simple sentences. Let's start with the progressive aspect. May sakit ako. I am sick. May sakit ka. You are sick. May sakit si June. Bumili ka ng gamot. June is sick. Buy medicine. May COVID siya. Huwag kang lalapit. He or she has COVID. Don't come near him or her. May sakit sa mata si Efren. Efren has eye disease. Let's try the completed aspect. Nagkasakit ako. I got sick. Nagkasakit ako noong isang buwan. I got sick last month. Nagka-COVID kami dati. We got COVID before. Nagkatrangkaso ang anak ni Marie noong isang araw. Marie's child had fever the other day. Nagkasakit sa baga ang tatay ni June noong isang taon. June's dad had lung disease last year. Now, in the contemplative aspect, magkakasakit yata ako. I think I'm gonna be sick. Yata is an adverb that means looks like, perhaps, it seems, etc. It's a word we use a lot. Moving on. Magkakasakit ka. Huwag kang magpaulan. You will get sick. Don't get rained on. Magkakasakit ka yata. Mainit ka. Looks like you will get sick. You're warm. Magkaka-COVID yata ako. Mayroon akong sintomas. I think I'm gonna have COVID. I have symptoms. Magkakasipon yata ako. I think I'm gonna have a cold. Magkakalagnat ka yata. Mahiga ka. Looks like you will catch fever. go lie down. Now, let's try the recently complete aspect. Please note the use of the adverb lang, which means just. Kagagaling ko lang sa sakit. Literally, I have just been to a sickness. The English equivalent would be, I just had been sick. Cool? Kagagaling mo lang sa trangkaso. You just had a flu. Kagagaling lang niya sa sakit. He or she has just been sick. Kagagaling lang nila sa COVID. They just had COVID. I hope our examples are not too complicated. But you might be wondering, why is the root word sakit complicated? Well, the simple answer is that it's just the way it is. This is just how this word and its usage evolved over time. Language may have rules on grammar and syntax, but there are exceptions to those rules. It happens a lot to many languages, and Tagalog is no exception. Let's go back to our verb table and see where we're at. If we complete the verb table, including the verb we've learned in part 1, the last video, it will look this way. It kind of looks like things are all over the place, and the chart doesn't look like the other verb table we had in previous lessons. But wait, there's more. We're not yet done. There are 2 more verbs created from the root word sakit. Yes! And I will talk about those in the next video. I hope you catch that. And please do leave a like. That will help this channel reach more people. I will see you next time. Maraming salamat po at hanggang sa susunod.